Greetings YouTube and welcome to my next gear video. We're going to be comparing my new toolbox with my old toolbox. Now this is a toolbox I picked up from Sears many years ago. I think I paid $8 for it around Christmas time one year. Back when I had a Sears in my area. We no longer have a Sears. And I liked it for the overall size. It was light and it had a metal glass because the previous toolbox I had a plastic one and it never worked very well. This one does have some deficits, and one of the deficits is this glass is fairly loose. In fact, when I was using it every day, I would actually put a carabiner on here so that when I was moving from point A to point B, I would not be concerned about this coming open. And this many a time when I would be trying to move this like from a shelf up to where I am, it would just hook on something and start to unlatch, and I would suddenly find myself like this. And I'm like, oh crap! Because I don't want my entire toolbox, tumble upon the floor. This handle recesses, which is, kind of nice because you have a flat surface, but it also means all this is wasted space. Completely wasted space. Now in here, the original tray was just one big space. And I hogged out some plastic there, and I had to do this kind of kludged job here because these little metal boxes I had lips, and I wanted it to sit flat, so I just put popsicle sticks in there, and then I glued them down. But the glue did eventually fail, so that didn't work. But it did give me 4 compartments as opposed to having 1 compartment, so that was good. Also, you're losing a bunch of space here, and because of the handle being in the middle, and it's got this big hole, so things could fall in here, and things from here could fall in there. Not cool. As far as the bottom was concerned, there was nothing really good or bad about this. It was just a big open space. So I really didn't have anything big complaint about that. No. My big complaint were these hinges. Because these hinges just snap on. In fact, can I do this one-handed? Can I do this one-handed? I don't think I can. But if you open this thing up too hard, the hinges would literally pop off. Which is very, very tedious. And it drove me absolutely batty. So this is now going to be relegated to my basement. Maybe I'll find a use for it for storing something in. I'm not positive. But this is my new toolbox. This is from Uria, which I believe is a Central American brand, but I'm not positive. And it has a nice firm clasp. Nice. Takes effort to get that on there, and it still has a loop here, and I will still probably put a carabiner on here, and I'll show that carabiner in a second. But the big selling point for me was not just the slightly larger size, but the continuous piano hinge. Awesome. It's slightly larger because it is a little bit higher. It's the same length, but it's actually narrower because the hinges stick out. So these hinges don't stick out as far. So this actually fit in my toolbox, in my locker at work a little bit better, which would be nice. It's not a very big locker. So let's open this up. And if you've seen my gear video, the crafting video, I showed off how I had modified this. In fact, you may have seen the video previous to this when I talked about the original review and stuff. This is how I've got it kitted out now. So this is the little bits and sundries in here that I have around. It's because all the the little bips and bobs. Like for example, here is a little carabiner I use. It's not much, but it does in fact work. And I actually have a lock in here in case I ever need a lock. I've never used the lock at work, but I have it just in case. Here's the key to the first aid room at work. Some bits of flashlights, some air nozzles in case I need them. This is a spare ID tag in case my retractable one breaks while I'm at work. I want to have a backup. Nail clippers, some paper clips, some safety pins. Those are actually useful tools to me. A pencil sharpener, which is also a useful tool to have in here. This is a good quality one. This is an all metal pencil sharpener. I really like this one. Can I see what brand this is? This is a Stettler. Not really shocked on that one. I like quality stuff. And actually this bolt right here is not here for fastening things. This is actually a testing device. There's a parts I make at work that I use this to make sure that the holes are the right size. So that's what you use that for. And these little white things are, whoops, I just dropped one. I'll if I find out where that one just went. These are actually part of my utility knife, which I use at work. See it right there. If you wedge a little cone in there of rubber, it doesn't fall out. Many people haven't done that, so they lose them, and I find them, and I keep them in case other people lose them. I can replace them for them, because I'm a nice guy. Calculator, utility knife, a number of tweezers, because those are useful, some markers, both highlighters and permanent. Pen, here we have a crayon, which is actually a useful tool, and a brass pick. Here is a crocheting hook, which I actually use for a specific part I do at work. It's one specific part, but this makes the job so much easier. So it's worth me keeping around. And I just got this one, which is a pen with a stylus, which I don't really care, or a pen, because I have a better pen, but I got it for that. Because there are things at work I want to be able to show people while I'm standing behind them, and I can use that to point at things without having to get too close to them, because it's close quarters and we are in the middle of a pandemic. So when you move that out of the way, this is the bottom section, and these things right here are my sleeves, and you've often probably heard me talk about gloves when I do my knife reviews. These are the gloves I'm talking about. These are artificial. There's some kind of nylon-ish stuff. I don't know what the heck they're made out of, but they're heat resistant, and I use these at work, and I take them home every weekend and I wash them, so they actually are clean. Well, they will be clean. I haven't washed them this week, and the sleeves get washed as well every week, and these things can last me 5 to 6 weeks before I either grab grease or I blow a hole through them when I go grab another pair. And I can make a pair of these sleeves usually last me about a year. This is another type of glove I use. I don't wash these because they shrink too much, so when one of these get ratty, they just get tossed. We have some shears, some clippers, spare glove, because there are times I'm not near a tool cabinet to get my supply cabinet, some cough drops. We have a copy of Glovers, some note paper, hole punch, which is actually useful. There's some zip ties in here. We have some caffeine, some pink bismuth, tape measure, corrective fluid, a knife hone, which I actually find useful occasionally. This is a small case which has got some reusable earplugs in it, some actual breath mints, and that Altoids tin has extra blades in it for my utility knife, because that way I can safely carry them. Alcohol swab, that's a magnifying glass. This is kind of cool. This is a key to the doors on the presses at work. And a maintenance guy gave this to me years ago, and I found it very useful because it'll let you open things that under normal circumstances are not easy to open. Some Neosporin, grabber. This is very handy, magnetic grabber. I use it all the time to pick things up in places that they don't belong. This I keep around just because this lets me put on air nozzles in a very specific way, because the way they fit onto the air guns, there isn't enough space for a standard adjustable wrench to fit. So I have this 1/2-inch wrench, which I've made a little bit narrower, and it works perfectly. A putty knife, a hook. These things are kind of cool. I have 2 different sizes of these. These are corkscrews. This is a large one. I have a small one. And if you get something stuck in certain places, I can screw that in there and I can pull rubber out. I have a mirror, and I have some aluminum tags in there. And these are all the things that I use at work, not necessarily on a daily basis, but often enough that it justifies me carrying them. There goes my cough drops onto the floor. But this is the kind of kit I carry at work every single day. Makes my job a whole lot easier, allows me to fix things on the fly, and my coworkers and the people who I take care of, because I am lead, are thankful in the fact that I'm carrying around all this kit, as well as my current EDC, which has, multi-tool and flashlights and things like that on it. So yeah, this is going to be my new toolbox. This is all the stuff that's going to be in it. I am very happy. I cannot wait to bring it to work next week, because I brought this one home this weekend to make the switch over, get rid of some stuff I didn't use, and get this ready and set for work next week. I am one happy camper. So, what do you keep in your toolbox at work? Do you have a toolbox at work? Let's talk toolboxes, what kinds we like, how we kit them out, and how we use them.